If you do this one thing with your lead wrist and this one thing with your lead arm, you can make the perfect backswing every single time. What does the perfect backswing actually look like? Well, it has two components. Number one is it gets the club face in a good position and is square and on plane at the top. And number two is the lead arm is just ever so slightly above the shoulder. So if this is my shoulders, you want your lead arm to be in line with your shoulders or slightly above. We actually like it slightly above in the vertical line swing. We talk about this in our book, The Bad Lie, which I'm not gonna brag, but it's an Amazon bestseller. How do you get the club in that position every single time? Well, let's talk about the lead wrist first, which is gonna get your club face squared up and get the club on plane. And then we'll talk about the lead arm and a training aid here in a second. The lead wrist can work multiple ways. I can go this way, I can go this way, I can go up, I can go down, I can go all different directions. And when I just grip the club and I do that, okay, I go this way, I go this way, you can see how it changes the club face in numerous different positions. If you take the lead wrist, and this is what I would have you do, you could do this at home, you could do it while you're watching golf on TV, is first of all, just create some awareness of how the wrist works. So here's what I want you to focus on. I got my main man, Nick. Nick, are you ready for this? Okay. Nick's got a thumbs up. This has to do with the hands, so Nick's gonna like this tip, all right? Okay, all right, he's gonna like this tip. So basically I'm gonna take my palm and I'm going to move it towards the inside of my arm. Okay, everybody see how I'm doing that? If you do that, that will actually close the club face. If you do the opposite, if you take your knuckles and you move them towards your forearm this way, that will tend to open the club face. And this is what one of my students, Paul, was doing. This is what made me think of this and why I wanted to do this, because his arm was not in a good spot and his club face was way out of whack. So I said, all right, Paul, here's what I want you to do. Just take your lead wrist and just do this a little bit. Because I wanted him to feel how the lead wrist can actually really control the club face. When the club face gets in a good position, it's square and it's on plane, the lead wrist is generally a little bit more flat. Now, not all golfers are in this position. I know some of my fellow golf gurus and instructors out there, well, what about so-and-so? He's like this. And yeah, I know that. Generally speaking, for the experienced golfer, those of you who follow us here at US Golf TV, you want your lead wrist to be pretty flat. So this would be, see that? Now that closes the club face and it gets it a little bit flatter, versus when I go this way, it gets it more open and across the line. Most of the golfers I see are in this position. So that's why, like Paul was over here, I said, Paul, take your lead wrist and just do more like that. So here we go, let me do it from face on here. A couple of those, so he created some awareness, and I said, all right, you got that feel? He's like, I think I got that, Todd. And said, take it to the top. Now as you get to the top, just do the same thing and boom, the club face was in a completely different position. So that's number one. You got to get the club face square and you got to get it on plane. Your lead wrist can do that. Now, the second way, we're going to combo this together. We're going to combo this together at the end. The second thing is you got to get the lead arm in the right spot. Let me grab my orange whip here. This is Whippy. It's got an orange on the end. That's where it comes up with the name Orange Whip. And Jim and his whole team over there at Orange Whip, these are great guys. We love working with them because they got a couple really good training aid products, and we use this one a lot. Now, we're talking about the lead arm. So here's where I want the lead arm to be, especially if you're following the vertical line swing. And you've read the book, The Bad Lie, right? That lead arm, when it's at the top, okay, should be in line with the shoulders or slightly above. So this would be good. This would be bad. This would be, how's that look right there, Nick? Okay. All right, Nick gave me a thumbs up. Make sure you give us a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe to the channel. And you know our favorite question. We love hearing where you're from. Be sure to put that in the comments as well. So now that we know where we want that lead arm to be, how do we get it there? Well, that's where the Orange Whip comes in. Because it's generally a little bit on the longer side and because it's definitely heavier on the end, if you swing this club back incorrectly with your lead arm, you're going to start hitting the ground way behind it because of the way it releases and the way it whips. So that's why when I want to get somebody to get their lead arm in a more upright position, one of the core concepts of the vertical line swing, I just give them the Orange Whip. I have them elevated a little bit. I just have them make continuous motions. And instinctively, their arm starts working more back and up. Now, maybe the first couple swings, they might swing it low and around this way, but the minute they hit the ground, they're like, nah, I ain't gonna do that anymore. So they just start swinging it more back and up. And this is what I did with my student. I said, all right, just get it going there. And all of a sudden he's like, okay, I get the feel of where that lead arm is going. So then we finally tied it all together. Here's what I want you to do. When you're at home, just get in your regular setup position. You need to hit a golf ball. because part of learning and improving at golf is creating body awareness. I said, all right, just get set up here and just boom. Remember what you do with your lead wrist? I was like, yeah, I got that. So the lead wrist there, swing the arm up, boom. Lead wrist there, swing the arm up. Do a couple of those, get a feel for it, and all of a sudden his body started creating that awareness. Now that we've improved your backswing so it's perfect every single time, check out my next video. And if you want to personally work with us on your golf game, check out vlscoaching.com.